The dust settled on the rocky battlefield. Nappa lay broken. His back was shattered. Goku's Kaioken attack was just too powerful. He could not move. He looked up at his prince, Vegeta, and pleaded for help. He was a loyal Saiyan warrior. He had served Vegeta his whole life. He expected mercy. He expected the prince to help him recover. After all, they were the last of the Saiyans. They needed to stick together to conquer the universe. He thought their bond as elite warriors was unbreakable, a sacred trust forged in countless battles across the stars. Vegeta walked over to Nappa. His face was cold. There was no pity in his eyes. "You lost," Vegeta said. "A Saiyan elite doesn't lose to low-class scum." Nappa's eyes widened in shock. He could not believe what he was hearing. Betrayal felt worse than his broken spine. Vegeta raised his hand. A powerful energy blast formed in his palm. It was the same move he used to execute Cybermen. Nappa closed his eyes, ready for the end. He had failed his prince, and this was the price of failure. He had always known Vegeta was ruthless, but he never imagined that ruthlessness would be turned on him. But then, something happened. A small, round figure flew in front of Vegeta. It was Gohan. He couldn't just stand by and watch. "Stop it," Gohan yelled. "He's already beaten." Krillin joined him, standing protectively. Vegeta sneered, annoyed by the interruption. This momentary distraction was all Nappa needed. Using the last of his strength, he fired a weak energy blast at the ground. It created a cloud of smoke and dust. When the dust cleared, Nappa was gone. He had crawled away into the shadows, escaping his own prince's wrath. He was alone, wounded and abandoned on a planet he came to destroy. Vegeta was furious. He cursed his own weakness for letting them distract him, but he had bigger problems. He had to face Goku. He dismissed the thought of the fallen warrior. "Let the weakling crawl away and die," he muttered to himself. He turned his full attention to Kakarot, the low-class Saiyan who had caused all this trouble. The real fight was about to begin. Nappa, meanwhile, found a dark cave to hide in. He was in terrible pain, but the pain of his body was nothing compared to the pain in his heart. His prince, his comrade, had left him to die. Everything he believed in was a lie. Days turned into weeks. Nappa stayed hidden in his cave. He slowly healed his broken body. Saiyans get stronger after every near-death experience. His power level was rising, but his mind was a storm of confusion and anger. He thought about Vegeta. He replayed the moment of betrayal over and over. All his life he had been proud to be a Saiyan elite. He followed the prince of all Saiyans. Now that pride was gone. It was replaced by a hollow emptiness. What was the point of being a warrior if your own leader threw you away like trash? He started to observe the humans. He watched them from his hiding spot. He saw them rebuilding the city he had destroyed. They were weak, so incredibly weak. Yet they helped each other. They showed kindness. A family shared their small meal with a stranger. Children laughed and played in the ruins. This was strange to Nappa. On planet Vegeta, strength was everything. The weak were worthless. But here, these weaklings had a different kind of strength. It was a strength he did not understand. It was a strength based on community and compassion, not individual power. One day, a small child wandered near his cave. The child saw the giant, scary man and was not afraid. The child offered Nappa a piece of fruit. Nappa was shocked. He had killed this child's people. He had brought destruction to their home. Why would this small creature show him kindness? He growled, trying to scare the child away. But the child just smiled and left the fruit on the ground. Nappa stared at the fruit for a long time. He was a conqueror, a destroyer. He did not deserve this simple gift. The gesture confused his warrior's mind more than any battle tactic ever had. Slowly, something inside Nappa began to change. He was tired of the anger. He was tired of the hate. The Saiyan way had led him to ruin. It had led to his prince trying to kill him. Maybe there was another way. He started to think about Goku. Kakarot was a low-class Saiyan, but he had spared Nappa's life. He fought to protect his friends and his planet. He was strong, stronger than Nappa. But his strength came from a different place. It was not from pride or a desire to conquer. It was from love and a need to protect. This was a new concept for the giant warrior. After Goku left for Namek, the remaining Z warriors sensed a familiar power level. It was faint, but it was definitely Nappa. Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo went to investigate. They found him sitting outside his cave, no longer hiding. He looked different. The rage in his eyes was gone. He just looked tired and lost. He did not power up to fight them. He just watched them approach. Piccolo was ready for a battle. He still remembered how Nappa had killed him and the others. He did not trust this Saiyan for a second. His hand glowed, ready to fire a special beam cannon. Krillin, however, hesitated. He remembered Gohan stopping Vegeta. He remembered Goku letting Vegeta go. Maybe they should try to understand first. "What do you want, Nappa?" Krillin asked, his voice shaking a little. Nappa looked at the small human. "I have nowhere to go," Nappa said, his voice low and rough. "Vegeta tried to kill me. I'm no longer one of his soldiers." This surprised the Z warriors. They had seen Vegeta's cruelty, but they didn't think he would turn on his own partner. Gohan felt a strange sense of pity for the giant man who had caused so much pain. Piccolo was still suspicious. "So you want us to feel sorry for you after everything you did?" he snarled. Nappa looked down at his hands. "I did what I was trained to do," he said. "I was a Saiyan warrior. We conquer. We destroy. It is all I have ever known." He looked up at them, a strange new emotion in his eyes. "But Kakarot, he is a Saiyan. He is different. And you fight to protect. I do not understand it. But I am tired of fighting for nothing." He proposed a deal. He would stay on Earth peacefully and maybe, just maybe, help them if they needed it. It was an uneasy truce. Piccolo agreed to watch him closely. Bulma, hearing the news, was furious at first, but her scientific curiosity won. She designed a special gravity chamber for Nappa, similar to the one Goku used. She figured if he was going to stay, he might as well be useful. Nappa began to train, but he wasn't training for revenge against Vegeta. He was training to understand his own power. He trained alongside Gohan and Piccolo, learning about ki control and strategy, not just brute force. He was slowly becoming something new, not just a Saiyan, but a defender of Earth. When the time came to go to Namek, things were very different. With Nappa on their side, the journey was less desperate. Nappa knew about Frieza. He warned them about the tyrant's immense power and his cruel nature. He told them about the Ginyu Force. This knowledge was invaluable. Bulma modified her ship, and Nappa went with Gohan and Krillin to Namek. His presence changed the dynamic completely. When they encountered Vegeta on Namek, the reunion was explosive. Vegeta was shocked and enraged to see his former subordinate alive and working with his enemies. Their fight was personal and brutal. On Namek, Nappa fought Frieza's soldiers with a vengeance. He was protecting Gohan and Krillin not for a prince, but because they were his new comrades. He faced Dodoria and Zarbon, warriors he once served alongside. He showed them the new strength he had gained from his near-death experience and his training on Earth. He was more powerful and smarter than ever before. He even helped Vegeta in the fight against the Ginyu Force, not as a servant, but as an equal. This uneasy alliance against a common enemy confused Vegeta, forcing him to reconsider his own definition of Saiyan pride and strength. The final battle against Frieza would be altered. Nappa's presence would mean another powerful fighter on the field. He would likely not be strong enough to defeat Frieza himself, but he could protect the others. He might save Krillin from being killed, preventing Goku's initial Super Saiyan transformation. Or his own death at Frieza's hands could be the trigger that pushes Goku or even Vegeta over the edge. Imagine a scenario where Nappa sacrifices himself to save Gohan, a final act of redemption that solidifies his change from a destroyer to a protector. His journey would be complete. In the end, Nappa's survival would send ripples through the entire Dragon Ball saga. His relationship with Vegeta would be a complex tale of betrayal and reluctant teamwork. His bond with Gohan would be like that of a gruff uncle, a protector who finds a new purpose in a child's innocence. He would become a permanent member of the Z Warriors, a symbol that even the most destructive souls can find redemption. The world would be a safer place with another powerful Saiyan defending it. Nappa, the forgotten warrior, would have found what he was truly looking for, not a prince to serve, but a home to protect.